A very warm welcome on behalf of Madhyam and ambassadors of mediation to all the participants, our guests of honor, and of course the viewers. It's a new concept we are bringing for you and hope you appreciate it. We float a new topic for 4 days for a healthy discussion on the WhatsApp group. And then we follow it with a table debate with the registered participants. That being the format, I, Pooja Anand, once again welcome all of you all to the first ever table debate. We agree to disagree. We have all been fortunate to have stalwarts, our seniors and gurus, pondering and sharing their views on the first topic for the debate. Voluntariness is a pitfall in mediation on the Ambassadors of Mediation WhatsApp group, for which we are extremely grateful as we learned a lot. And now, taking cues from the discussions held, today we have invited four participants, all well established lawyers and trained mediators in their respective cities, to speak their hearts on what are their views on this topic and where we see the future of mediation in their able hands. We are fortunate that we have Mr. JP Singh, Senior Advocate, trained mediator, trainer, and Secretary General Madhyam New Delhi as our guest of honor to guide the teams. We have two teams and four rounds. In the first round, each participant from each team will table their views in few minutes. And in the second round, Mr. Singh will put forth few queries to the participants in random order. In the third round, the participants will again get an opportunity to table their views alternately in teams, wherein after the fourth round, our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Singh, will give a short summarization of the debate. Let me welcome the participants. Team A for the motion comprises of Mr. S.S. Ray from Delhi, Mr. Vishal Sharma from Chandigarh. Team B against the motion is comprised of Ms. Amita Sehgal from New Delhi and Ms. Rama Priya Gopalakrishnan from Chennai. So let's set the ball rolling with the topic voluntariness is a pitfall in mediation. Over to you, Team A. We have Mr. S.S. Ray first sharing his views on the topic.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you very much. In the opinion of the House, voluntariness in mediation is a pitfall, and I support this motion. When we come to mediation, the first thing that we do is what is called an opening statement. And there are two fundamental aspects of the opening statement. One is confidentiality of the process, and second is voluntariness. Now, when we emphasize this, we encourage all the people who have come to the mediation, all the parties, that whatever you speak here is going to be completely confidential. Whatever may have been your pleadings in the court, you can leave that behind, because there is a sense where we are trying to bring a quietus to the dispute. There are many issues which are not articulated in your petition, but we want to bring a quietus to your dispute. So that is the sense of confidentiality. And that confidentiality extends to the fact that it cannot be raised by the parties or by their counsels in any forum of litigation ever. The second part which we emphasize is voluntariness. Now here I say this is a pitfall. Why? Because first of all, let us understand that there is a distinction between a private mediation and a court-annexed mediation. We are here speaking only of court-annexed mediation because private mediation is voluntary. So there is no debate about that. If you are going for a private mediation, you have voluntarily chosen to go there. But here in a court-annexed mediation, when you tell the parties that you can walk out if it is not going to happen, and this is a win-win situation for both of you, then there is a flavor of adversarial litigation.
Let's see, Mr. Ray, let's see what Mr. Sharma has to say on this.
As part of the team, I'll definitely support what Mr. Ray is saying. I'll add on to this with John F. Kennedy's quote. It says, "Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate." Now, the basic mediation mantra is that mediation is a voluntary process. That is the basic mediation mantra. where the parties are willing to use mediation as to find a resolution to the dispute. It is believed that the voluntary element of the mediation is crucial. Well, this is a misnomer to me. I will start with the topic itself, which says voluntariness, a pitfall in mediation. Now, to me, the most crucial word in this entire thing is not voluntariness, not pitfall, not mediation. The word to me is in. Now, there are two routes to mediation: voluntariness, a pitfall in mediation, or a pitfall to mediation. So, to me, the process should be in two forms. Going to mediation is one process, and while in the mediation is another process. So to me, voluntariness comes in the second part, when we are in the process. Now, how to bring the parties to the mediation? The number of debates, whether, since we are in India, the mediation, though it has started since 2004, is still at infancy stage. And at this stage, to tell the parties who have opted for litigation that mediation is a process, and how good a process is that, is in itself, a tough task.
So, thank you, Vishalji. We will come back to you. Let's see what Team B has to say on this. What are their views? Starting with Ms. Ramapriya Gopalakrishnan.
Good evening, everybody. Amita and I will be speaking against the motion. Our stance is that voluntariness is not a pitfall in mediation. Voluntariness implies the right of the parties to enter into the process of mediation. B, it implies the right of the parties to withdraw from the process at any stage. And C, it implies the right of the parties to choose to enter into an agreement, or alternatively not to settle their differences by an agreement at all. So voluntariness respects the autonomy of the parties throughout the process. And it is very important for the reason that it gives the parties a sense of ownership over the process and also a sense of ownership over the outcome. That is why voluntariness is a founding principle, or one of the fundamental principles of mediation. And I wish to again emphasize that voluntariness is very important, and it must be, the principle of voluntariness must be respected throughout the process of mediation. Thank you.
Ms. Amita Sehgal?
Yes, so just taking it from there, I would say, the word here is pitfall in whether voluntariness is a pitfall in mediation. So meaning thereby that, are we saying that voluntariness is a hurdle for mediation? It's a hurdle in mediation, as Vishal said. So it would mean that voluntariness is a hurdle in the process of mediation, is what we're arguing about. I say no, it's not. Because when we talk about the process of mediation, we are not necessarily looking at the success of mediation. One, that's my principle, because that's not the goal. We are looking at the process of mediation. When we start the mediation, we tell the parties that it's a voluntary process, meaning thereby that this is what it is. This is the process. You choose to be in it. We empower you. We make you aware of what the process is. Then the parties negotiate, they exchange offers, and then again the choice comes. The only point is that it's an informed choice. They make a choice to negotiate, to give up part of their claim, what they're claiming for, or not give up their claim. So the question is, one, not of just opting out, but of choosing. When the parties settle, they again put down that we are voluntarily and out of our free will agreeing to enter into this settlement agreement. So that is what is essential part of the mediation process, that the process itself remains voluntary throughout. The parties are informed at each stage that this is what it is. They are empowered, they are told about, they negotiate with the other party, the mediator informs them, but there is no compromise of any aspect of mediation.
Like Thank you, Amita. Yes. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite Mr. JP Singh, sir. Sir, you've heard all the participants. If you could just take over.
It is
Thank
very
you so much.
interesting. Thank you, Pooja. It's very interesting, the way they have opened up the whole subject and, talked about a little bit of nuances, which obviously is something very good. I was looking forward to it and they have brought it up. Now, let me start with Ramapriya. Ramapriya, if mediation is about self-determination, does mandatory mediation satisfy this tenet of the process?
I would say yes. I mean, I know what you're meaning by mandatory mediation is, I think you're referring to the fact that Section 89 CPC, that under that, the court is required to, consider whether if the elements of a settlement exist, then the parties should be referred to an ADR process. That's what the judgment in the Afghans case says. And then there are a few legislations such as the Commercial Courts Act, the Consumer Protection Act, the Industrial Disputes Act, which make the process of mediation/conciliation mandatory. Now,
so would it still be voluntary?
See, all these legislations, they just bring the parties to the mediation table, but the process is voluntary throughout. So even assuming that the parties are required to attend one session of mediation, even in the very first session, they could probably tell the mediator they are not interested in participating in the process. So it is still voluntary. But my stance is that we should not make mediation mandatory. Instead, the focus should be on creating greater awareness amongst lawyers and amongst the general public about the process of mediation and the benefits of mediation. But it should not be made mandatory. The moment you make it mandatory, it gets reduced to an empty formality. And I would like to just give 3 examples, sir. One is in family courts, when parties file a petition for divorce by mutual consent, and if they file a petition for waiving of the cooling period of 6 months, then in Chennai at least, maybe this process is followed in other states also, the matter is referred for mediation, and mandatorily 3 sessions of mediation are held. And to my knowledge, no case ever gets settled there. It's just like an empty formality. Similarly, I practice in the field of labor law predominantly. The process of conciliation, which is mandatory, in many cases it's reduced to an empty formality. And now you take the Commercial Courts Act. People are forced to go for pre-litigation mediation unless there is a need for urgent interim relief. So parties often file frivolous applications claiming that there is a need for urgent interim relief. Or sometimes parties misuse the process by delaying the process. So I am not for mandatory mediation at all. And even the so-called mandatory court annexed mediation, or which exists in the country or under these statutes, it's mandatory in name, but the process is voluntary. And parties are referred when they agree for mediation.
Okay, thank you. Now coming back to Mr. Ray, the role of the mediator is not bereft of his perceptions of the situation. And when he exhibits his knowledge of the situation in guiding the parties, is the final outcome accepted by the parties really voluntary? Yes or no? Why?
So bringing it back to the topic and also answering your question, when I say that it is a pitfall, being voluntary is a pitfall, is because I draw myself on my experience, where I find that many of the parties who have come for mediation, one of the parties I will find is reluctant, and they have come here only because they are seemingly going through the motions of going through the mediation. There is a non-seriousness of it. When you tell them that this is voluntarily and you can walk out anytime you want, then they want to pick the first opportunity to walk out. Now, coming back to the question that you have put to me, that yes, the personality of the mediator is very, very important in the way he molds the process, because that is essentially what the mediator does. He has command only on the process, not on the outcome. And rightly said by some of the panelists here that yes, we are not concerned whether or not the mediation is a success or not a success. We are holding the process. And to that respect, the mediator is correct. And the decision ordinarily should only be voluntary. That's how we have always been taught and trained. However, we know that we are all human beings. We do tend to move the mediation in a certain manner. We do try to bring out those people who are reluctant and going through the motions, to tell them, look, there is a certain seriousness of this. But I am confining my argument only to court annexed mediation, because that's how I opened my argument to say that Voluntary private mediations, which are few and far between in this country, are completely voluntary. So let's keep that outside this debate. Only the court annexed mediations, yes, the mediator has it, and the decisions, as I have seen, are voluntary most of the time. But the mediator controlling the process has a very, very big contribution to this.
Okay. Vishal, once parties are in court, they conceive litigation as a contest where they are only thinking of winning or getting maximum benefit from the situation. There is no scope for exercising any volition in choosing mediation to resolve the dispute. True or false? And why do you say so?
See, as far as my understanding of the question is that the parties take the mediation process as believing that they are right and they will get some result out of the mediation process in their favor. So, see, in every case, one party thinks and believes that he is right, the other party thinks and believes that is right. So, in that case, coupled with the topic of voluntariness, how would we make sure that the voluntariness, which is in this case, particular case, would be directly proportional to the result? Whether if it is result-oriented mediation, and in the mind of the parties, I mean, if it is a result-oriented mediation, whether it is result-orientedness of the process, in fact, whether it can be correlated with the voluntariness, because being voluntary, we cannot be result-oriented. As Ma'am Ramapriya said, that it cannot be result-oriented. But in the mind of parties, it is result-oriented. When the parties are before the mediator, they are thinking about winning their case. They are not thinking about resolving the dispute, as we, in all fairness, mediators put it, that we are trying to have a win-win situation and we are resolving a dispute. The parties in their mind are trying to win their case. So as far as that is concerned, yes, the voluntariness will suffer and always suffer as far as that is concerned. That is a practical difficulty we face.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal. Amita, coming back to you.
Yes.
During the process of mediation, every party thinks that volition is their right to choose and their right to decide, which is also mandated by mediation. As such, where does the concept of voluntariness fit in mediation? If it's your right to choose, your right to decide, where is voluntariness?
So the voluntariness comes in because once the parties come in mediation, after they understand the process. One, the mode changes. Your mode becomes resolution oriented, because when you're in court, you're looking at getting what you have claimed for. Like in a custody matter, the parties are fighting tooth and nail, against each other. But as they come to mediation, they may slowly come to an objective, neutral analysis of the situation to see that what is the interest, whose interest is more important. So here I would say, if they make a voluntary choice that, okay, let's see if we can jointly share. So the voluntariness is the choice they are making is a more informed, more well understood choice of the whole situation. It's a holistic choice they are making. Choice is not just a voluntary choice that, okay, I just desire to do this. As the word voluntary itself says that I don't have to do this. It says, so in the context of mediation, as I understand, it's a choice after being made to understand the process very well. One, I wouldn't just say the option of moving out. I would say the option of understanding the whole situation holistically, where every party goes out in a position where even if they are giving part of their claim, even in a property matter, if a person is, say choosing, say wanting, the entire property, but he is able to balance his priorities when he comes to mediation after understanding what is important. It's not that he's giving up. He's saying that, okay, fine, I'm okay. I'm balancing what is important to me in life. What is it that I want in future? It's not just peace. He may just choose that, okay, if I give up, if I just, give up this claim, I may have better relation with this person. So there are a lot of aspects which the parties are able to balance when they come into the mediation mode, as I see it. So that's the choice, and that's the voluntariness. That's as I see.
Thank you so much, Amita. Thank you. Back
Thank
to
you.
Pooja.
Thank you so much, sir. All this has really, really helped and educated all of us. Your questions were so enriching. It has set all of us thinking. Amita, you were speaking about it. Any change of heart on the topic after hearing all the participants?
Ma'am,
What are your views?
ma'am, I still feel
Just in short,
I won't say a change of heart, very honestly. No change of heart here. But yes, I would say I would just emphasize what I feel that voluntariness has to be seen more in the process. So far as being sent to the process is concerned, I still feel that any statute or any court or any mandate is only asking the parties to attempt a process. It's only showing you that, look, like there is arbitration, there is also a process which is resolution oriented. Please attempt it. Yes, there may be certain pitfalls in executing that, like Ramapriya ma'am said, the parties are misusing it, but that is something that that has to be overcome with time, and there are lawyers all the way. That's a very, very important fact.
Thank you.
That there are lawyers at every stage to support the parties. So their choice is very well informed of their claims also. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amita. Vishal, Amita, I pointed out to your views on this topic. So what do you have to say?
I think
Mr. Vishal Sharma?
I think Amita ji agrees with what we are saying. In fact, what we were trying to portray, that there are two forms of voluntariness. It can be divided into two. When she said, it is her words, I'll quote, she said, choice after being made to understand. So the word is after being made to understand. That choice is after being made to understand. Now, how will you make the party to understand that, yes, it is voluntariness which is important? How will you drag the horse to the water? He may not drink the water. Yes. So I'll just have one quote from Vishnu Puran. There's a very short story. There's an old lady with a hump on his back, and every child is throwing stones on her. She's crying, and Hanumanji is just traveling. She saw the old lady. He saw the old lady, and he comes to her rescue. Hanumanji says, "Old lady, why are you crying?" She says, all the children are making fun of me. They're throwing stones at me. So Hanumanji said, all right, I'll make this hump go away. So the old lady says, if you can make this hump go away, you can create a hump on all the people who are throwing stones at me. He says, yes. So this is the crux of the story. We are not happy in our happiness. We are not happy in our resolution. We feel that we should punish this person. Now, how will you take that person to the mediation process? Whether he will come voluntarily? Well.
Thank you, Vishalji. Yes, Ramapriya ji, what do you have to say after you hear the story of Hanumanji and this from Vishal? Any change of heart?
No change of heart. I would want to say the same thing. There may be some difficulties with voluntariness. For example, when parties don't show up for mediation, or when parties, who are on the brink of settlement suddenly opt out, or they keep the mediator waiting, they keep the other party waiting, they don't, give any prior information and don't turn up for mediation. So there are some problems with voluntariness like this. But despite such problems, we must persist with voluntariness throughout the process, from the very beginning. Even to take the horse to the water, there should be voluntariness, because parties will participate in good faith in the process of mediation only when they have ownership over the process and ownership over the outcome. For that sense of ownership, even the horse should go to the water voluntarily. And making mediation mandatory is a shortcut because we feel mediation has not caught on as much as it should have in the last 15 or 16 years. But no, that is not the way. The way forward is by creating greater awareness about mediation and about the benefits of mediation.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Ray, please, over to you for your take on this.
Thank you, Pooja. According to me, I still hold the same view that voluntariness in court annexed mediation is a huge pitfall. And I'll say why. See, the only thing which is voluntary, and we all know it, is actually litigation, and that too only for the petitioner. He has what is called dominus litis. He chooses where to file a petition, he chooses against whom he wants to file a petition, and when to withdraw that petition. And therefore, the defendants who are arraigned have to come and defend it, whether there is something or there is nothing in the matter. But when you go to a mediation, and especially a court annexed mediation, if there is no voluntariness, there is no seriousness. Let us please understand three things. There are three modes by which we are trying to do a dispute resolution: litigation, arbitration, mediation. Mediation is a standalone, which is a dispute resolution mechanism. That is why private mediation is yet to take off, but it will in times to come. I'm sure it will. Now, from 2005 till 2021, the reason that we do not have a seriousness in the mediation is because the first thing we tell people is, look here, you can walk out anytime you want. So if I can walk out anytime I want, it's all right. I need to take ownership. But there is something also which is said that a fruit cannot be plucked before its time. Let's understand that. Because the kind of mediation that we do in Supreme Court, and a lot of it is matrimonial litigation, people are fresh to the litigation. They haven't traveled 15 years. So it has not become right. There is no fatigue, litigation fatigue that has set in. There is no wisdom of the parties. For example, in voluntary litigation, there is a wisdom of the parties in private litigation where they say, okay, I want to bring a quietus to this. And I want to do this. The businessmen come to an arbitration or a mediation and they say, look here, if I can get 10 lakhs today, I would much rather take it than litigate for 10 lakhs and ultimately not get that, or get something at 10 lakhs plus something 10 years later. So therefore, there is a sense of maturity. That maturity is yet to set in. That is the reason which has been recognized by our legislators. And therefore, it has been included in the statutes that, look here, not only that there should be a sense of voluntariness, yes, you should have ownership, but total voluntariness is a huge pitfall. And I will stay by that. I support that motion over here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. JP sir.
Having heard all of them, now let me tell you what I feel about the topic and what we've just heard from you. See, reaching a definitive agreement is not the primary object of mediation, although it is a secondary goal and usually the natural result of involvement of an effective mediator. Mediation sometimes resolves disputes, sometimes it contains them, and sometimes defines them more clearly. So let's not hanker after settlements. So in that sense, mediation never fails. Mediation is a process and not an outcome. Mediation may even, serve as a gateway to self-awareness, empowerment, forgiveness, and even reconciliation. Always, however, mediation provides the opportunity for making better decisions. Even if it be a decision to submit the dispute to a court, the boss, an international tribunal, or some other authoritative decision maker. The topic, as was rightly said, it presumes you are in the process of mediation. Is voluntariness a hidden or an unsuspected danger or difficulty in mediation? Both sides acknowledge that the parties are the final arbiter of their disputes in mediation. when we say win-win, is it win-win? Does volition or voluntariness win at the end? Now, the protagonists see this as a pitfall. Voluntariness, according to them, causes delays when a party comes to participate to buy time or avoid an inconvenient judge in reference to court annex mediation. As observed, mostly parties are only thinking of maximizing benefit to oneself. Lawyers and mediators add to this positioning by deciding or by directing the parties. Therefore, volition has no chance. That's what they say. The antagonist did mention of mandatory mediation, but once parties have joined the process, this issue may not arise, and we can debate it some other time. They believe most parties do not want to live with their conflict. The process actually gives the parties' narrative a chance for expression and therefore an opportunity to change. The participation in mediation changes their perspective and sets them on the journey of introspection. Party autonomy is maintained as there is no compulsion to settle. Now, quoting the wise words put in the group by our scholar friend, perfectionism is a dangerous thing in an imperfect world. The best thing is to forget doubts and to take up the task in mind. Mediation is here to stay. Let us create awareness of the process amongst the stakeholders and develop good practices. Let us allow the concept to grow and find its roots. Let us strive to create a culture of mediation where focus is on relationship and finding a solution which is suitable to all. Thank you so much.